My name is Florence Ives. 1 second. Hi, my name is Florence Ives, and I'm going to be performing a monologue titled Ferret Envy by Tara Medoff, character Giodi, and a monologue from the Kevin Smith film Chasing Amy, character Alyssa. Look, I know, coming in and seeing me with the knife over Fuzu's box makes it look rather strange. But, well, you miss him, don't you? Well, you know, I could be your ferret. Don't dismiss it right away. I'd be a good pet. I like to curl up in small places, and I don't mind rocks and sticks. You could knit me a winter coat, and you don't even have to tie-dye it if you don't want to. That's okay with me. Is that okay with you? Okay. I'm just gonna rinse this knife off and throw this little bag away, and then I'll curl up in my box, okay? I found a new one, a size 11. I'll wait for you there, and you can throw me a ball, okay? Unless you don't want me to be your ferret. You don't need to back away from me. Don't you want me here anymore? If I'm not here, who's going to sing to you? I know the entire soundtrack to Sleepless and... Hey, don't be scared. I don't know where I'm supposed to go, Julia. I could... I could go to Seattle. I could follow Fuzu. I'll go to Seattle. No, I used them. You don't think I would have let it happen if I hadn't wanted it to, do you? God, I was an experimental girl, for Christ's sake. Maybe you knew early on that your trek was from point A to point B, but unlike you, I wasn't born with a fucking map in my hands. So I tried it all. That is until that is you and I got together and suddenly I was sated. Can't you take some comfort in that? You turned out to be everything I was ever looking for. The missing piece in the big fucking puzzle. I'm sorry that I let you believe you were the only guy I'd ever been with. I should have been more honest. It seemed to make you feel special in a way that me telling you over and over how incredible you are would just never get across. Do you really mean to tell me that, well, You have no problem with me sleeping with half the women in New York City. You have some sort of half-assed, mealy-mouthed objection to pubescent antics that happened over 10 years ago. What the fuck is your problem? Thank you. I felt like I was more on target that time with that specific monologue. I thought more about where her intentions were, and while she's very angry, you know, it is heartbreak. And I think she realizes, especially towards the end, that this is no-go. Like, we're never really going to be able to be together again. And I don't think I showed that enough in this take. But that's okay. I talked a little bit about the train thought process I had for the Michael, like, that I got from the Michael Caine masterclass video. That was my idea of how to come up with a million things to say and never say them, or have a thought process in my head throughout the monologue. And I'm sure that's pretty common, but it is something that I'm gonna have to flesh out a little bit more to be really clear on my objectives, I think. Because I think her objective changes from beginning to end, and I'm just not sure how exactly. Like, I think half the women in New York City, she's kind of realizing that he's such a huge misogynist. So I think that's where she kind of gives up on, I want to be with you, why won't you just be with me? Oh, okay. I'm gonna try it one more time. I didn't have that before. I want to be with you. Like, I'm defending myself, and I'm just confused because, like, why does that change anything? If you love me, why are you screaming at me like this? Why are you blaming me like this? For something I did when I was a teenager? Who cares? Who gives a shit? It's something that I had to go through to figure out who I was. I can understand that. I can relate to that. We'll see. Hi, my name is Florence Ives, and I'm going to be performing a monologue from the Kevin Smith film Chasing Amy, character Alyssa. No, I used them. You don't think I would have let it happen if I hadn't wanted it to, do you? I was an experimental girl, for Christ's sake. Maybe you knew early on that your track was from point A to point B, but unlike you, I wasn't bored with a fucking map in my hands. So I tried it all. That is, until that is you and I got together. And suddenly I was sated. Can't you take some comfort in that? You turned out to be everything I was ever looking for. The missing piece in the big fucking puzzle. Look, I'm sorry I let you believe you were the only guy I'd ever been with. I should have been more honest. But it seem to make you feel special in a way that me telling you over and over how incredible you are would just never get across. Do you really mean to tell me that while you have no problem with me sleeping with half the women in New York City, you have some sort of half-assed, mealy-mouthed objections to pubescent antics that happened over 10 years ago? What the fuck is your problem? That one felt better. Transitions are rough. I think I want to pick up the pace a lot. My brain just short circuits, and I think I'm gonna just need to do an image map for this one too. But I have a similar problem with Ferret Envy, and I had an image map for that one. And I mean, it helps, like, but I still have to, like, wait a second to find the image and then pull it up. And it's faster, so I think I still will do the image map for that one, but for Chasing Amy. Anyway, Ferret Envy, I felt pretty good about that one. I'm gonna send both, I think. Yeah, there's definitely still something missing. I'm not 100% clear on her objectives. I think that, I mean, it's definitely her dream to live in Seattle. Like, I think that was, like, the main, it's always been, like, a fantasy of hers. And maybe that was a fantasy that she just didn't think was ever possible. But, you know, in her own house, she saw this ferret living a life that seemed much better than her own. And he was right here. He wasn't all the way in Seattle, wherever the fuck that is. He was right here in her house. And she saw him being unappreciative to Julia, because apparently he didn't like being fed rocks and sticks. Weird. And so I convinced myself that this ferret was just living the life, and that I needed to convince this ferret to go live out the dream I had for Seattle. To go live in Seattle, where you can be happy and have lots of stimulating games and lots of food that's not rocks and sticks and things like that. Yeah, so she convinced Fuzu to move to Seattle. She convinced him using a knife and some imagination. But she did convince him. But she doesn't want Julia to know that she convinced him. She wants Julia to think that Fuzu ran away because he was an unappreciative little rodent. And I could be a much better rodent for you. I could, you know, I could be appreciative of what you give me. Even if you don't want to tie-dye my winter coat, that's okay, you know? Monologues in, I think I still will do that. Yeah, it just takes a lot out of me, and it requires a lot of preparation. And I don't always have time for that, and that makes me sad. But we are where we are, and it'll be fine. God, I'm tired, man. Alright. This seemed pretty good. Thank you.